Hello everyone, it's Trina, and I wanted to do a quick little video for you guys, and I wanted to start going over some of the gnosis that I've received over the past 30 years of exploring spirituality and my belief systems, and re-exploring and defining and trying to discover who I am as a person and what my connection is to creation itself. So with this, I've been asking these questions for a long time, and I will be sharing with you guys a lot of what I call my doodles. And these are just things that I write and I draw, and it's how I process my information. So I see so many people in the community that are really seeking to want to connect to these higher parts of our mind. And you hear all these people, they're astral traveling and they're doing all these things, and a lot of you all are going, well, how do I do this, and how does this happen, and where do I begin? And that's the funny part about this work, is that you all are going to do it different, and you're going to do it the way that it works for you. So the best way I could think to start is to start asking questions. So start finding out, what are the questions that you have about yourself, about the world, and really start to formulate questions. And as you have those questions, think about them, meditate on them, and learn to trust the information that you receive about them. And this is how you start to receive your inner teachings, your inner wisdom. It literally comes from your own self in different forms, different ways. And another thing is too, is don't give up. So if you have a question and you're asking something and you want to know and you're not receiving information about it right away, be patient, because it will come. You just have to learn to trust that it will come. And sometimes, if you're learning a brand new way or a brand new concept, sometimes the universe has to bring things into your reality, experiences, a movie, a song, a revelation, anything, to put some type of new database into your mind. So therefore, they can instruct you with that new information that you've currently just gotten into your consciousness. So that's why you hear so many people, their belief systems evolve and they change. It's because every time you get to a higher awareness, it kind of shatters your belief system. So waking up is sometimes extremely painful, because it blows apart everything you once believed. So it'll rip your belief systems right out from under you sometimes, but that's okay, because it just expands your awareness, and it doesn't typically destroy the belief on its own. It just, you see it from a bigger perspective. So it expands the current belief into a new expansion. So you see it from a different position, and therefore it does change the way you think about a lot of things. So this was one I kind of just wanted to share with you guys on how I started getting information about myself and some of the things that were coming into my consciousness when I started asking the question about, what is DNA and what are we, and how does the DNA affect us? And I just started asking all these questions about our cellular structure, how the cells communicate. All of these different questions were formulating in my mind. And this was some of the information that I received. And what I wrote down, and this was like from 2016, and it was in June. And I wrote down, the division bell, the Holy Grail, is you, and you are human clones. Genetics, generation, playing God, gene of Isis. So these were the thoughts that started coming into my mind as I was, asking these questions. What are our genetics? Where did we come from? So these are the images, the words that were coming into my mind, and I was just writing them down as I was receiving them. So then I heard, the enemy seeks the grail, the holy grail. When cloned, you can have a soulless vessel to control, trying to replicate or duplicate from the God's template, making a mirror image of his creation. Magna Carta, open rebellion against the king. The Holy Grail bloodline of Christ, your name to be stricken out of the book of life. Also clones or chipped AIs will lose their free will, as they will lose their inheritance or their first estate. So these are the thoughts that start coming into my mind when I was asking about cloning, genetics, what we are. And this was several pages of information. I heard that Satan's third temple is the new transpersonal human being. This will eventually lose its soul, and it will be trapped into the system, the beast system, or the artificial intelligence construct. Your connection to the cosmos will be severed, as well as your free will or your ability to hear spirit or Father. I will tell you a mystery. The kingdom and the temples are not buildings. God does not dwell in these buildings. God does not dwell within technological things. God does not dwell in things built by human hands. God are the human hands itself. Then again, I was drawn to the symbology of Snow White. Snow White is symbolism for you to wake up to your destiny, for you to reign and to rule within Christ. And my understanding of Christ is not like the normal understanding that most people learn in religion. My definition of Christ is the unity of the Holy Trinity within you. So the Christ aspect is the union of Father, Mother, Son, which is body, mind, spirit. It's the Holy Trinity within you. So when you can blend the mind, dual, masculine, feminine, that's when you activate the pineal gland or the higher mind, which is the Christ. So the Christ it's a vibration. It's a way of being able to be connected to your own inner Trinity, your own inner guidance system. So, and that is fully organic. And I believe it's the first original Trinity placed into the body for communication. The way it was explained to me was that it's your personal internal technology. So, and this internal technology is connected cosmos. So it goes way beyond and outside of you. And that is profound to me because they were explaining this to me and it was such a, like, I was like, okay, so my mind is receiving from outside of my mind. That was a huge concept for me to kind of adapt because, we hear our thoughts inside of our mind, but they were showing me it's coming from outside of the mind. Well, science has just discovered that our consciousness is truly not local to our mind. So this information is coming, a lot of it's seeming to be true. Like I said, I can't validate 90% of this. It's just my information, my perceptions, my conclusions through years of study and gnosis, and my belief system, as you will see, it has changed over and over again with new information and new gnosis. So Snow White, we are the sleeping beauties. Somehow this has been brought to me over and over again that through these avatars, these bodies that we are occupying, we are truly occupying them. And the reason the consciousness is not local to the physical brain is because it's coming from the part of you that's not incarnated in the physical body. But nonetheless, that's part of your Trinity. So you are always connected to that higher aspect of yourself, whether or not you are in flesh or not. So the whole challenge of this world is remembering that you are more than your physical body, and you are in your body, and you're having an experience with the physical body in the 3D world, but you are much more than just your physical body or physicality itself. So I will be going into a little bit about the teachings that I received, a basis on the Holy Trinity and the original Trinity, which has nothing to do with the material world. It existed before matter. So we come from before physicality, before matter. The first essence of matter that I was shown was when energy produced water, because water is the blending of the father and the mother, because the mother is the pleroma. It's the womb. It's the water, and the water has all potential. And everywhere that there is physical life, water is present. So with that, I was shown Father is the thought, the inspiration, the concept. Mother is the womb, the water that can literally create the physical matter. So, and then the gnosis of those two coming together, having an awareness of itself, consciousness, that is the Son. That's the Son. So that's the Father, the Mother, and the Son creating the Holy Trinity within thee. So this is your Trinity. And that's like not what anybody's been told in church, because they're missing the mother matter part, the matrix part. So that's the part that they're utilizing that we kind of don't have any awareness of. And I think that's a big step in our evolution, is to understand that we are energy first, and our physicality is a product of that energetic power, that energetic substance, that unseen has to be brought forth through the visible spectrum, through mother, to form matter. So we need to start to remember that we are bigger than the physical world we exist in. And this is when I truly got into an awareness of that concept. That's when I truly understood that I just don't die. There is no death. Energy can never be destroyed. It can only transmute and change. So with that, you are eternal, and you come from a place where time does not exist. And through my childhood, I had visions and memories of existing before I came here. And through meditation and different spiritual practices that I've done through journey work and guided meditations, there has been lots of confirmation for me that that is true. I've seen many different aspects of myself through these journeys, and that's part of understanding more of who you are, because when we come into these physical bodies, we don't remember who we are. So in this incarnation, that was like the most important thing that they told me I came here to do. I came here to, first of all, remember who I am. And when I remembered who I am, I would remember that I come from a family that is not bound by time. And my family is of light. And when I started to remember those foundations, that I truly come from an unseen realm, it started to help me to connect that part of myself with the physical part of myself. So you can blend the both. So you start to walk in spirit and matter at the same time. And we pretty much do this often, especially if you're one who meditates or daydreams. You're always tapping into these frequencies of higher mind. And the more you do it, the more natural it becomes, and the easier it is to get there. And then before you know it, you can just easily be in both at the same time. And I think that's what they used to term Skywalkers. So many of you all are Jedis, and you're Skywalkers because you can walk the skies. So as we've learned to walk in the realms of the skies, which are truly, the funniest part about that is you feel like you're traveling out, but everything is inverted. So literally you're traveling in. So, people say when I travel out of body, it feels like you are traveling out of your body, but you're literally going inside your body. Everything is backwards. So start to understand too that everything is inverted. Everything is backwards. So sometimes, like, if things feel like it's up, it might be down. If things feel like you're going out, you might actually be going in. So these are all part of how we see things through the mirrors and through the inversions. And that's part of this construct. Sorry, my huskies are talking. Zodi and Cody, would you please play in a few more minutes? So learning about ourself is it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work, but it is the most beneficial, powerful work you will ever do. I started searching for the truth about God since age 3. Went into some crazy experiences. As you guys know, some of you know, I've worked in group homes. I've worked with children. I've done a lot of different things. I've seen a lot of different energies and entities. I've seen possession. I've seen a lot of dark energies. Being always drawn to light and consciousness and always like seeking out these things. It's like you have a light around you and things can see it. So you're kind of targeted that way a little bit because you're vibrating at a higher rate, and that does trigger a lot of dark entities and energies. So when you guys start to wake up and become more aware of your power and your spiritual light and your spiritual bodies, and all 5 layers of your energetic bodies, because you have Zodiac. You have multiple layers of your energetic body. So, and these bodies they serve different functions. One is emotional, one is causal, one is mental. So these bodies, getting to know the aspects of each and every one, because they truly do have almost like their own personality, because they have their own function. So they're created for that function. So our personalities are they're literally formed from what we've experienced. When we're babies, all of us are the same. We're completely spirit, soul, fully being immersed in a matrix experience, in a physical experience. But we're all identical. We're carrying the same consciousness. That's where the whole we are one thing comes from. We truly are identical at that point in time. But everything that happens from the moment of birth, from how you get delivered, if there was a lot of trauma, if there was trauma to mama, I mean, all these things, these are the first imprints you start getting from the matrix of this creation point. So everything that you are, it has nothing to do with anything other than what you've experienced and perceived. And these perceptions create your personality. So all of our personalities are expressions of our experiences. So that's why we have all these different personalities. And that is so beautiful, because we need every single one of those expressions to match the fullness of creation. So so back to more of my little writings down here. So it was back to Snow White and symbolism. We need to wake up to our destiny. You need to reign and rule with Christ, which is activating the Trinity within. So, and if you endure, you will reign with your family of light. If we disown our connection to spirit and just dive into the physical desires of the flesh and the construct and just be totally lost in the world, don't look for any of your higher parts of yourself, then you're kind of you're just you're separated, because your frequency won't match. So the whole meaning of doing this work is to raise and lift the frequency. You have to raise your frequency, and that's literally done through knowledge. The more you learn, the higher you vibrate. Your frequency rises with gnosis. It rises with knowing. That's why we just left the age of Pisces, which is the age of the fish, Pisces. Pisces is ruled by the feet, the soul, the feet. So Pisces also, its main thing says, I believe. So this is why we were ruled by religion and governments and all of these things, because we were in the I believe, looking for something to find truth in and believing. So religion was a huge part of this past age that we were in. Now that we've moved into Aquarian, the Aquarian age says, I know. I know. So this is the age of gnosis. This is why it's the apocalypse, and this is why it's going to be the time of the great revelation, which means revealing. Because we are coming from I believe to I know. So now is the time to start to dive into the self so you can know what it is you need to know. And the way you do that is by asking questions. So never stop asking questions. I'm a why girl. It's my nature. I get an answer to a question and I'm like, how come? And then I ask why again. So I know it can be annoying for a lot of people to always be asking why. But I will tell you, this is a great place to start. Just simply anything you have a question about, think about it, write it down, and see what comes into your consciousness. And we're all going to get different information, because the different information that comes out of the same question, that matches for everybody, because some people are going to hear it one way and some people will hear it another way, and all these different answers, none of them are wrong, because we all reach this gnosis in different ways, but we all come to the same conclusion, which is truth. But it doesn't sometimes appear that way. But truth is always truth. But truth is so vast, and truth is in the eyes of the beholder. So as your perceptions change, truth can change. But the truth is always going to be true, because the truth is so big. It can't be put onto a label. There's no label for it. It's an essence, it's a vibration, and it's strong, and it's supportive of its own self because it stands in truth. So truth is a beautiful thing, but it's a tricky thing too. So, arguing over truth is not going to get you anywhere. Understand that truth is going to change with your evolution of your consciousness. And one truth will evolve into a new higher truth, to a new higher truth, and up you go. So we got to give you, don't get caught up in all the details, because the details are just information, pieces of information, so we can grab onto the essence of a message. The devil is in the details, and God is in the simplicity. So creation itself, they've showed me over and over again, KISS, keep it simple, stupid, because you have to keep it simple, chunk it up if you want to see beyond what you currently see, because details are things we identify with. Those are things that keep us in the current mindset. So sometimes we have to let go of the details to get to a bigger consciousness. And that's why keeping it simple, you will find some of the most profound truths in the most simple statements. And that's how they showed me. They says that will always be how the real truth is presented. It will be very simple. And that to me was profound, to know that truth would always be simple. It would never confuse you. It would never trick you. It would always be simple. And when you receive a truth and you feel it in your gut and you know it's true, it feels right to you, that is true for you. So honor your feelings, honor your truth, and then ask more questions, and then your truth will evolve to another level. So that's how it's worked for me for the past 30 years. I was also shown that the Queen is symbolism for second in line. The Queen is second in line to Adam. So it's they said Satan replaced him and corrupted him, meaning Adam. The next in line is Christ and you to reign. So they said that Adam was corrupted, but because of us, and we would activate our Christ, And when we activate our Christ, we would be the repair codes to repair and restore the Adamic race, the entire human race. So that was cool. I was like, oh, I want to sign up for that. So then they said, they showed me Luke 17:33. Whosoever seeks to keep his life will lose it, and whosoever loses his life will preserve it. That's profound. Yeah, to keep this life, whosoever seeks to keep his life will lose it, and whosoever loses his life will preserve it. I have a strong feeling that that's about the trying to live forever, transpersonal humanism. If you seek to preserve your life through artificial means to this extent, I have a feeling you might lose your actual life, because life is eternal, but it is only eternal if it is organic, because through the organic principle of life itself, it goes through a process of birth, it transmutes all the time. It's constantly changing. When you lock the soul essence into anything that it cannot move freely from to and fro, eventually that energy gets trapped, and that starlight is trapped, and the starlight eventually loses its power, fizzles out, and dies. So that was what they showed me, just like a star burning out. So if you put your soul essence into these machines, it might be your death. So just be aware that that is a potential that I had been shown. How, if I know if it's true or not, no. But my gut says yes. So use your own discernment, and also to understand, I have no problem with people going that route, because I have an understanding that everything will be experienced here. And many people, that is their destiny. That is their destiny, and that's what they want to experience. So it should be allowed. And I honor their decision. But that's not my choice, and that's not my path, nor is it going to be my destiny. So with that, I have a feeling that this time period is going to be the time period where you will be forced to decide, will you merge with iron and clay, or will you remain spirit and water? So those are things that we might be faced with very soon. And I do think that there's going to be a soul consequence for putting the soul into an artificial construct, because the artificial construct is not organic, and it does not produce its own light. It steals and needs energy to survive and sustain itself, as does everything in this construct. This construct is 100% based upon entropy. Entropy is death. So this is a cycle of life and death through regeneration. If you lock the essence into something and do not give it a chance to lose its essence and regenerate, it can't recharge its battery. So eventually the essence will lose its power and its charge, and it will fizzle out and dissolve or die. And that would be the true death. So that would be a true death, because that energy would literally be consumed, and then it would be completely brought into a pleroma state again. Consciousness and all memory, all of it would be dissolved. So that's what they showed me. Whether or not I can validate that, no. But that's literally what I was shown. If you put the star in the jar, eventually the star's going to die, because they got to be free. They have to travel. They have to go through their growth and patterns and transmutation patterns to restore their perfect organic flow. So that was what I was shown, that we are stars in essence. So those who seek their life, seek to save their life, will lose it. That was profound to me when I was thinking about that, and that was literally what I saw in my head was Luke, and I saw 17:33, and I looked it up, and that's what it said. I was like, whoa, hold the phone. So come as a man and die as a man, not come as a man and live forever as a clone or a machine. Matthew 16:23. Christ turned and said, Peter, get behind me, Satan. If you are a stumbling block in my way. You do not have the mind or the concerns of God, but merely the concerns of man. What that meant to me was the stumbling block was because Peter couldn't understand why Jesus was going to go willingly let them kill him. And that's why he was like, get out of my way, Satan. I'm supposed to die. That's what I'm supposed to do. I always laugh at, I think it's, the whole Jesus thing. Everybody argues about it, whatever. This was my spirit guide when I was a little girl. So I know that there's a thought form, at least to the minimum existence, because we believe it. So therefore it has to be real because we believe it. What we believe, we make real. So bottom line, if there wasn't a Jesus, oh, we've got one now because y'all made it. So, but this being was always beautiful to me. And he knew that he was going to die. And it's funny. Do you think, okay, so if there was a person, it didn't have to be named Jesus, but if there was a person who was a master, and we've got monks and Buddhist monks and stuff that know how to levitate, they can heal, they know how to do these things, faith healers, they do it too. I've witnessed many miracles. So this is not something people can't do. This is something that we can do. So if this guy was walking around healing people, raising the dead, healing the blind, yada, 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 do you think for 1 minute he couldn't have got off a cross? He could bilocate. People said he would literally vanish before them. So with that, he did this on purpose. This was done on purpose. He was telling you, don't worry about your flesh. Don't worry about your flesh. Worry about your spirit, worry about your soul. Don't worry about your flesh. So this, to me, is the biggest message that nobody seems to understand. Because literally, if he could do those things, do you think he couldn't have got himself off of a cross? He could have. Anytime he wanted. But he didn't. He didn't because he was showing you, don't worry. Do not worry about your body. Do not worry about your flesh. It's temporary, and that is on purpose. And that's why he says, want not of the things of this world. Seek the kingdom of heaven, because the kingdom of heaven is where your real family is. Your real family is the blueprint that makes these bodies. So it comes from those genetics, those higher genetics. So fear not, guys. Main message, fear not, fear not, fear not. We are bigger than we know. We are the magic of this world. We are powerful, beautiful beings. And when we come together, that's what he told me. He says, don't forget, you came here to be like Jesus, which meant it was a way, and that there was millions of us, and that we all came here to embrace each other. And through embracing each other and remembering who we were and remembering that the most important thing of what we are and who we are is our Holy Trinity, our body, mind, spirit connection. All three, when they agree, that's when we can make miracles happen. So we came here to make miracles, and we have to do it together, because they say, all the things that I can do, ye shall do, and greater. The greater part was when 2 or more come together in my name, which my name is Christ, and that means the Trinity. So when 2 pyramids, two trinities come together, they make a star. And when 2 pyramids of light come together, they make a star, which is a point of new light, which literally is a new part of creation. So we are magic, we are magi, we are stars, and when we come together, we make the Star of David, and that's what we are. And that fire that lives in you is the divine spark, and that spark, that's the most precious thing in all of creation, because that spark has consciousness. And that spark, that has the ability to think and know and perceive, I am, because it's aware of itself. That is the only thing you should ever worry about preserving. That's why they say, know thyself. So I love you guys. I will share with you more. I have lots of doodles. And oh, also too, this was more of it too. Satan wants to destroy the temple of God. He wants to destroy man so he can build his own temple, or the third pillar of the Freemason, the builders who rejected the cornerstone. Satan's agenda. Number 1, transhumanism. Number 2, one mind or hive mind. 3, controlled by reproduction. He wants to stop all reproduction from humans. Only cloning allowed, no more sex. No woman, no man. You'll be both. Neutral gender. Not allowed to be either or. You have to be neutral. Which, think about it. All the aliens, they don't have any genitals, guys. No genitalia. Telling you. Something's going on there. Okay, so 5, produced by technology, alchemy, magic. They want to change the body through technology, alchemy, and magic. Man and woman to be destroyed. It would be crossed out. No more X chromosome. No soul. This would bring you into what they call singularity. That's the 8th. The 9th is the third pillar, which would be created through the singularity, through the cloning and the loss of soul. And then their final and 10 would be one world government with one new man, soulless, compliant robot. So that's the agenda of the darkness according to what they showed me. So, like I said, whether this is true or not, I don't know. These are just what I get when I ask. Questions I ask, these are the answers I receive. So, fall from grace explains how Jesus could be both Jewish and the Messiah. So, the fall from grace. 2 brothers, 2 angels, 1 good, 1 ego. 2 witnesses. Lucifer, who did not open his house of his prisoners. Isaiah 4:17. And then it showed me truth. So Lucifer, who did not open the house of his prisoners. So apparently the angel of light has got some captives. So that might be something to think about too. So I love you all. This is the doodles from my division bell. Gnosis. So that was one of them from 2016, and it was part of how I understood about my soul, and that my soul was connected to the spirit, and it was connected to the sun, and that was the Holy Trinity within, and that the water was the Holy Spirit, the thought or the electrical spark, that's the Father, and bringing them together in the heart, having an awareness and a physical body that is aware of itself in consciousness and has the ability to connect to Mother and Father, is the Holy Trinity, and it is the Christ within. And that means you are truly Christed. You are anointed because you are working with your true Trinity. You're working with Mother, Father, and Son as one. I love you guys. May soul be with you, and may the Trinity within you become the strongest pyre of fire known throughout the entire universe. Much love. Talk soon. Bye-bye.